simplified form, we have the four elements needed in every timepiece.
Oh yeah, I should probably start. That would be a better thing than staring off, contemplating how much blood you can lose nasally before that becomes a problem. That's an odd sentence without... Oh, right. I also didn't do, like, any of the full setup, because, yeah, it's just kind of that day. That sort of day. Also, welcome in. I hope that you're doing well, and good to see that you either managed to get your phone back or got out of the bank vault you locked yourself in. And, well, and good seeing you, Swedish American Viking. Always nice seeing you around. But yeah, I have no idea. Wait, why isn't that on? There... Didn't I just... Wasn't the last king? Who knows? Oh, right, because I accidentally crashed everything yet again because I hooked everything up and then turned on the system. Yeah. I keep on having to remember because I think it's because I'm piping everything through a whole lot of adapters and other nonsense on old stuff that, like, if I hooked up my OBS direct to, or my computer direct to, oh, that was way too early. Ugh. But if I hooked up directly to my PS5 or something relatively modern, or it might just be the software version for OBS, actually, now that I think about it, because that's every time OBS updates, I hear someone saying or talking about how I was trying to guard, and then it just said, nah, we're just not going to acknowledge that you tried to lock onto them. But yeah, like, every version of OBS seems to break something horrendously, and, like, honestly, at this point, I'm not even that mad. I'm just impressed. Because, like, you're making something that a lot of people use and rely on, and how do they manage to find a way to make something worse? Like, every time. Sure, a lot of the stuff that I have made does have some problems every time it updates, but at least half of that's user error, and not just, yeah, all the stuff that you had, it ain't there anymore. Like, I would run out of things. I honestly feel like after a point, I would run out of things to make bad. This is kind of impressive. Do I have a small key for this? No. Alright. Oh yeah, and the other thing that I should probably explain, because I realize now that I opened up the stream with the question of how much blood can you lose before it becomes a problem? And yeah, I hope everyone's doing better than I am, because last night I kind of had the... Oh, right, I had already dropped down the shortcut, so I didn't have to do any of the nonsense I did back there. Dang it. Well, anyway. But yeah, I had to... Like, this week has been so bad for almost everyone. And... Ooh, that was close. Specifically yesterday was just... not that great. So I tried to give up on the day. You know, go to bed, just sleep it through and come back later. So naturally, around midnight, give or take, I wake up with one of the biggest freaking nosebleeds I've had in a while. And in hindsight, I think part of the problem today might be that left me a bit anemic. Not entirely sure, but it also wouldn't surprise me. It would definitely explain some stuff. Well. Wait, where am I? Oh, right, we were in this room had the pumpkin in it. I don't know why, but that's always the one I remember. Probably because it's just the first one in there. Like, first thing you find is the pumpkin, and then you move on to other nonsense. But yeah, I'm at least trying to get to like the first hour tonight, just because I hate having to cancel stream for any reason. But beyond that, who knows? I certainly don't. Wait. Oh, that explains that entire setup a whole lot better. That door, I guess we could use the shortcut after all. That door only exists to be an exit. Yeah, I've always kind of wondered, or kind of wish that it took longer for me to get through these dungeons. Partially because my way wasn't, or my line of thinking wasn't, if it takes longer for me to get through the dungeons, that means that there's just a whole lot more dungeon. Like, they're bigger, they're more complex, there's more puzzles, there's more stuff to do in them. And not... Oh. God. These things are still so cool. Like, the giant ice monsters that's just a bunch of the small freezers all together. Oh, also explains why the cannon didn't work the first time. We're going to try standing a little further away. Hang on. I guess we're doing this because I accidentally hit the microphone with my Wii remote. A combination of having to bring... I normally have it below the desk, like under my desk, in order to prevent it from, you know, accidentally hitting the microphone right in front of my face. But a combination of bringing it up to try to aim and then immediately getting surrounded by the little ice cream, like little ice pin cushions. I'm like, I need to swing the Wii remote now, right up into the mic. I swear. I also love the ball and chain. Just, you can hit anything that you'd normally have to move, and it just works. I swear that there has to be like. There has to be some puzzle in the game that uses the fact that you can hit things at a distance with the ball and chain. Alright. In order to push things. Like... Oh. That is not a safe place to drop into down there. That's just entirely holes all the way through the floor. Well, unfortunately, this dungeon is kind of the vibe for the area this week. It's been cold. Like, cold enough, in a completely unheard of move, finally turned on the ace, or turned on the heat. I had made it through the entire winter so far instead of like this up until this Monday without it on. And now, because I am the way I am, I've been forgetting to turn it off. So I guess it works out as if I turned it on and actually remembered, but I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling tonight. I just kind of get the vibe that stream's going to be low-key, chill, ice fun. Or is that? Not even fun. Just And like everyone else is either streaming themselves or or they just don't have that energy and are just trying to relax a little bit, which is a mood. Also, from the moment I saw that this was the item, I always thought that you should be able to, instead of grabbing a cannonball, load this in a cannon and use that as ammo instead. Like, that just would have been cool, you know? Especially if they designed this area so that there was a... Also, I have no idea why they thought, yes, we need a... This has been a pretty solid house design up until the point of, yeah, and there has to be a cannonball interchange here. Like, that just... We need that in a sitting room. Yeah, I always thought that it'd be super cool if there was a section where it's like, oh yeah, and there's a cannon, there's an ice wall that you can... Well, glad we got the... Glad we got the shortcut back up. Now to trudge through knee-deep snow. And wolves. The wolves are not quite knee-deep, but they're getting there. We're about ankle-deep in wolves. Maybe even thigh. Point is, we got wolves. And now... I know that this specific game decided that their unique upgrade for the claw shot should be just a second claw shot. But also, if any game feels like it needs a long shot, it's this one. It's always just a little bit less than what you think your reach can be. Alright, fire in the hole. If only I could fit myself in that cannon and launch me towards glory. Okay, I just have to see. Alright, there's not enough chain on the ball and chain. Because I thought the solution to this earlier was to get up where I just dropped down and then, boom. There's where you have a point to throw the ball and chain at them. I'm tempted to say that it would be cool if there was like a puzzle where you could do either find a cannon or a spot where you can hit it with a ball and chain. But like, ooh, church fight. All right, I'm just gonna say that the coolest part I find about this dungeon, and why it's one of my favorites, is like everything in here is readable. Like, you can comprehend what this room is for. Like, this is very obviously the castle's chapel. Ow. And that's just something that most Zelda dungeons don't really have, on account of them being primarily dungeons first and whatever the game says they're used for second. But I think, yeah, now that I think about it, my favorite dungeons in this are Goron Mines. Oh, wait, I just realized what would have been great for it. I forgot I had that. Oh, shoot, that's really good against them. But Goron Mines and Snow Peak Temple, because they make the most sense. Like, you can see, you can tell it, and it helps the... Oh, bedroom key. Nice. Finally found it. Like, you can tell, roughly speaking, where what this place should be overall. Like, you have... I know where that chest is on the first floor. There's an armory there. There's cannons, manuals, a couple of cannons that you shoot inwards. You're obviously misusing because they're meant to be defense turrets shooting outwards, but they've frozen over. And, like, you can tell all of that. Oh, hey. And similar with Goron Mines, you can tell, like, oh yeah, they're mining, the stuff that they're mining here also includes this magnetic ore that they use in their cranes, use all over, and probably just regular ironworks as well. Like, it's probably iron and whatever hot nonsense fantasy magnetite's up there. And everything feels industrial. Like, there's a section where you swap between 3 different magnet cranes, and it's like, yeah, the way this room is set up and how central it is to the rest of the dungeon, this feels like an ore interchange point where miners would bring the ore to the lower levels. It gets grabbed by one magnet, also handily shifting out. Oh, hey, Elton. Hope you're doing well. We're just ranting. I am very tired, and yeah. Talking about dungeon design, how this and Goron Mines are my favorite because they're the most readable ones. Like, they feel the most of a space that someone would actually use them for the express purpose. God, not yet. Yes, the Yeti dungeon. We are on... Actually, we're much further along than I thought, because we're on the final bit of just the final challenge, waiting for her to hobble up to her bedroom. But yeah, like, and then there's a section, Goron Mines, where it's all water, and you can... Oh yeah, I got so confused here too. I think the ones I got confused on the most were... water temple, because that's series tradition. If you have a water temple, you will have a bad time. That is just non-negotiable. Do I have more soup? I should check if... Oh, we got a fairy. That's close enough. And then this one, because they're also my favorite because one of my actually many complaints about this game that I think about it is the dungeons are all rather linear. Like, I think the next one is literally just a straight shot. It's 7 floors, but there's maybe 1 or 2 branching paths, but the branching paths occur right in front of a door. Other than that, it's a straight shot up, straight shot back down, and yeah. Also, this is just a very nice house they have. It looks nice. Mirrors. But I don't know, I kind of wish that I got stuck a lot more on, like, newer ones. Because part of it is just the design of Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild is so open-ended that... Oh, right! She kind of goes insane! Not take Mir. I think my biggest problem with Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, it does not do the same amount of legwork as older games do to try to absolutely terrify their target audience. Actually, I can look this up. We can just pause it because we have the full bridled power of the Wii. Breath of the Wild. No. ESRB. God. Yeah, like Breath of the Wild is E10 has an ESRB rating of E10 plus. This game's just straight teen. Like, I think this is one of the highest rated Zelda games, period, to the point where if they got any higher of a rating, it would have gone to M. Like it's as high as it can be without it being regarded as too inappropriate for kids. And I can see why. But I remember that Wind Waker, despite how that game is, did manage to scare me a bit with Re-Deads when I was little, just because having something zombie adjacent. They claim that no, they're totally not zombies. Like they're just clay dudes with a mask. No. Everyone knows they're zombies. Everyone knows what they are. But yeah, that... Ow. I see. There's that, and then I honestly believe that one of the things that they by design were trying to do for the old games was to scare kids. And like, it makes sense thematically on account of Link having, Triforce Scourge in his hand, that they want it to be somewhat disturbing. But I remember Spirit Temple in Ocarina, that one's messed up. And then the entirety of Majora's Mask. Got it. The entirety of Majora's Mask is just... that shit's still kind of terrifying, like, existentially speaking. There's some stuff on that, like, oh yeah, they're basically, everyone's facing down the apocalypse. I can see that they really kind of put everything they could into this. Like, especially as the days go longer in that by the time you get to day 3, everyone's either in complete despair or is making some very thinly veiled reference of, yeah, tonight is not going to be... it's not gonna go well, and like they're just making their peace or lack of it. And then there's stuff like this. And there's this game. Between a good nightmare face, a lot of disturbingly detailed monsters, and the traditional giant spider boss. But like, I used to be scared of spiders when I was younger. Then I got over it because working in a marina, you just kind of get used to them on you. There are so many spiders in marinas. Makes sense, like, most bugs need standing water to reproduce, and if there's going to be standing water anywhere, it's going to be by a lot of not standing water. Yeah. I just realized it's kind of interesting that Minna refers to Yetta as, like, as a girl. On account of... on account of the fact that she's married and does look at very least equivalent or a bit older to Link, that I don't care what people say, this is one Link that I view as just being adult. I wonder if that's... oh yeah, Yeti flirting. Ocarina is the one game where Link gets married to a fish. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are the ones where the fans wish he gets married to a fish. This one we get Yeti flirting. It's cute. Spiders and Marino is not a connection I had in mind. Yeah, you don't really think about it, but I guess part of it is that there's always kind of space under the docks, especially in like a bigger sort of marina where it's not like it's not just like a dock out, a simple wood dock out to wherever. They're usually floating, so they're at water level, and there's plenty of space underneath for a spider to make a web, plus just a lot of places where people don't regularly clean or disturb. So it's a little bit like the entire place is like a abandoned shed in the back of in the back of property that no one really disturbs it, nobody really goes there. But yeah. Alright. I guess... Wait. Did I get the last... Yeah, I definitely got the last wolf statue. Yep. Huh. Did I miss something in here? Oh, wait, no, those are dungeons, not warps. Like, why can't I... Isn't there a warp right out in front of the castle? Yes. If you actually look at where you can warp and not just like... and not just at the map. And like half of the whole Spires and Marina thing also depends on how well cleaned it is, which, if it's like a state park, not very well. Hello, dude. What you got for me? What was I talking about? Oh, that thought's on my mind. There's nothing in this head. Alright. Wife of Yeto. Feel bad you paid me a visit and not help much. Feel better now. Husband I slept. Aw. So I said they're being cute. And then just random stuff. You know, now that I think about this, this game kind of reminds me of, I forget what Pokemon games it was, but I know there's a couple where, was it, did it start with like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald? I think so. But where you had the Pokenav, that I understand why it got phased out, because at the end of the day, most Pokemon players don't want to be immersed in a game. They just want to they just want to min-max their team, which understandable. But also you could try to like hit the vibe of Pokemon or of what the series wants to do. That I remember people said they were annoyed at getting like the random calls and messages from people around it. Either for Sacred Grove. I was right. This is the next one. Also mentioned near this mark. Yeah, I think it's Sacred. What are the dungeons for this? Because there's Arbiter's Grounds. Huh. I just realized this is one of the... There's Snow Peak, which is probably the last time that they ever had a mountain biome that they didn't call out... They didn't name after Laniru. So there's... Yeah, Arbiter's Ground, Sacred Grove, Snow Peak, and then Castle in the Sky. So 3 dungeons left? Alright. It goes a lot faster when you're not absolutely stuck or have to return the game to family video. Which were some major problems that I had most of the times I tried to play this. No, wait. I want to go this way. I'd really like to do the side stuff that you can do with the Gorons, and like that they like the side quest to get the magic armor. That's it. But it requires so much more money than I remember needing. Although I could probably go back into a couple of old dungeons and pick up all the chests that I was forced to leave behind. Actually, probably. Speaking of... I remembered what I was talking about just because of another similar thing of... Oh, yeah. Oh, I was going to turn in bugs and post holes. Brain. But I remembered that they put in the feature of you just leave rubies that you can't physically fit in your wallet where they are. Like, you just put them back in the chest. And they thought what they were trying to do was a quality of life feature. So if you're full up on money, you can still pick shit up and get that money, so you won't have the instance of... And I know this has happened, like, in a Wind Waker playthrough on stream, that they have this... That there has been points where I've picked up, like, opened a chest, and it had 200 rubies in it, like a silver ruby or something. I'm like, oh. I would really love if I could have this. Like, it would... I know of a place I could blow all of my money later, not immediately. But I had to open this now, so there it goes. Yeah. And to try to combat that, they just say, like, all right, if we'll have him do the logical thing. If he can't fit it in his pouch, Link will just chuck it back in the chest for later. They'll be fine. Wait, I have bugs? Huh. Did not know. But instead, that made everyone baselessly mad because it just annoyed completionists or people who are like, you don't really, it's nice, but there's not really all that much stuff to spend money on, at least not to a degree. Oh, yeah, there's like 3 down here. Wild. Like, not to a degree where you need to, where it's ever worth backtracking. Oh, hey, speaking of, right now, I'm at max capacity. Oh, that's actually really interesting. Agatha doesn't complain about you leaving bugs on the tape, or bugs not donated to her if your wallet's full. But yeah, it's the weirdest thing that part of the reason that I think that the worst thing a game can ever be is mildly annoying in a way that doesn't actually matter in the long run, is because so often players get unreasonably and hilariously angry when a game tries to do something that benefits them, but does it in a way that like causes one more text box to show up, like just a single text box, and that's enough for them to get frothing at the mouth mad. It'll never fail to be funny, but it'll also never fail to be annoying because it was fine. Please tell me. Alright, 626. Nice. I actually might be able to... I actually might be able to get that much just through the rest of the bugs that I have to donate. Not to mention, I think postals do also have monetary rewards. And I have a bunch of those to turn in. Like... Yeah. I don't know. I really hope that they... I know I probably say this every time. But it's still true that I really hope that they take another look at this sort of formula. Or at the very least, Skyward Sword. Actually, no, not Skyward Sword. That has too many elements of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, that I don't know. It's the one complaint that I think has held the series back a bit that gets levied against the more out there interesting games like Wind Waker and well, not this game. Maybe I think Skyward Sword a bit, but that criticism kind of dried up after people realized that it was a testbed for Breath of the Wild. But the criticism was always that, oh yeah, this game would be better, or these games would be better if they were similar to, or more similar to Ocarina of Time. But that being said, I think there's a better way to phrase that helps with that like gets the idea across better. Alright, so don't have enough bugs for as I thought. Do I have more? No. But it's that they like they really like, I think the better way to say it is that they like that style where you have dungeons, a more kind of familiar setting, that when they levied those complaints against Wind Waker, they're saying that they wanted something like this that is new and fresh and plays with those ideas, or the ideas that were in Wind Waker, and builds off of them instead of doing something radically new and making it so that the thing that you should expect to happen, that you should expect every single game is to be different than the game before. Also, I just realized this, but Giovanni's whole thing is that he wished for wealth and sold his soul for wealth. They completely skunked him on that wish. Because all these gold coins, they're useless. Hyrule uses rubies. This... Oh, 3 more ghosts, so I don't have enough for them. I think it's like 20 or 25? The annoying thing is that... The annoying thing is that they only show up at night, and this is one of the few games that... It's actually kind of a huge... Wait, I can turn into a wolf in there. That means I can warp out of Hyrule without walking back. This is actually one of the few games where you didn't have like a dedicated music mechanic. Here. On account of the music minigame was handled by howling at a rock instead of anything else. Like, this is before they kind of dropped it entirely with the last 2 games. This was like the last time. Yeah, this was like the beginning. It was kind of weird for Link to not have an instrument. It's been a while since we took a walk in the forest, huh? Yes, our world has changed. So remember, this was really pretty on the Wii. Knew you'd come. Oh, hey, it's Russell. Heard your brave acts from Telma. Known her circle of friends since my youth, and of late we've begun work towards a common goal. So, let me tell you a story. I love how this is just... He had to break out his old... It's like old soldier gear for it all. Get behind it. On the far side of this deep gorge, some say there's an ancient temple deep in the woods that guards a sacred power. Ancestors of Highlands created the temple, signs of their civilization. Ancient, but very sophisticated, are everywhere. I love that line because Sacred Grove is just Ocarina of Time's Hyrule Castletown. Overgrown with massive fuck-off trees and worn by time, but this is a case of the timeline of Zelda doesn't make sense when you stop to look at it for more than a second and just kind of go that... Like, the best way to look at these games in terms of overarching lore is that any inconsistencies are explained because the reason is in the rationale is in the title. These are all legends, various stories that people tell about, largely speaking, Zelda and what shit she got up to, or the main. I love it. It's a golden cuckoo. There needs to be more gimmicks in Zelda games like this. Just like, yeah, Golden Cuckoo. The best flying ability you've ever seen. Only used here. I just love a gimmick like that. Oh shoot, one of the rare times this late in the game where the boomerang becomes useful. Ah, that was close, and mostly just close. Ah, I thought he was going to walk off the edge. Get back here, you dumb gold cock. Yeah, like it's exactly what it sounds like, that all the inconsistencies between one story and the next, like going off the map, and keep in mind, this is the Wii version, so this should be flipped. It would really be over here. It kind of lines up, that maybe change which way is north a bit, but it just implies that over time they moved Castletown from down here, which, going off the theory that the first dungeon is the remains of the Deku Tree, of either the first or second Deku Tree from Ocarina, it does kind of line up with, vaguely speaking, where Kokiri Forest would be, where the Zora's Domain, Death Mountain would all be. Alright, I got that right. Twinkle, twinkle, little cuckoo, golden not for you. And there's also the fact that these Howl Stones, you can tell by design and shape, they used to be the Sheikah Stones from Ocarina. Worn out by time and maybe whatever core they have. I don't remember if they are hollow in the game. Oh. I don't think they are hollow in Ocarina. But it does, but it implies that they were either worn or weathered out for a new purpose, because they still serve the same kind of thing as they used to, which is store information for someone who knows how to get into them. But also, given that Hyrule Castletown is, or at least the Temple of Time, is now in the Lost Woods, it kind of implies that maybe what happened, because there's not a Deku Tree in this one, it kind of implies that without a Deku Tree, the Lost Woods grew out of control and subsumed the kingdom. Which, I can understand. Oh, that was a puppet head. I thought we decapitated Skull Kid. Which I have to say is, at the very least, an interesting idea, that part of the reason that everything is in the first dungeon, the dead Deku Tree. Yeah, that's at least the theory. Of course, with... Oh, hey, Pope. Of course, with how these games are, they actually have a similar relationship to, like, official timelines and overarching lore as Doom, which is, to quote John Carmack, you expect story in a game like you expect story in a porno. It's not what you're there for, but it's expected. Which feels wrong to say about a Nintendo game, but yeah. Also, hey Mecha, I am at the very least here. That's about all I can say. But yeah, that's what I've always heard, and it makes sense because the first dungeon is in a giant tree stump, which, at the size, does fit very much with the size and location. Especially the fact that the way you get to the Lost Woods is through that, is right next to the dungeon. It does really make sense that it's like the old husk of the Deku tree. Especially with the idea of, because I know Breath of the Wild does this a lot. There's some references to the older games, like one of the first memories you can get is Zelda reciting this whole thing of whether over through time, over waves, or in the darkness of night, or whatever, like alluding to every single game before that. It's like, oh wait, so all the other Legends of Zelda games exist as legends in the latest Legend of Zelda. Cool. Ha. Feel that I'm considering taking off again tomorrow. His head's killing. Ugh. Yeah, that would be justified, honestly, of taking it easy and off of work, because, like, sore throat and a headache. Fortunately, I was better today in that regard, but Wednesday, there was a consideration of, maybe I should leave early today, or say, like, hey, I'm not doing well and I I'm gonna work from home, because the alternative is me falling over at our desk, and we know that nobody here wants to deal with that. We do not want to do the paperwork. So, yeah, all the phone calls. Because beyond just the sheer headache of having to deal with people, a literal headache on top of it is not fun. Like, understandable, and I hope you feel better tomorrow, and if not, I hope that you are able to have a restful day. Fill yourself with soup, like an irresponsible amount. Become by weight and volume more soup than however you want to classify yourself. Become a soup. Did I see another Pope? I should probably grab those on account of how there's a... Thanks, man. I slept most of the day today. Hopefully tomorrow's a soup day. Yeah, hopefully. God, that's been, like, most of the problem I think I've had. That, for whatever reason... Wait, have I been here already? I have not been able to get good sleep. Or, because, like, it's either something happens late at night and that wakes me up, or I just wake up randomly, or it's just... Admittingly, I can't complain too much about this because it's largely self-inflicted. I impulse bought Armored Core recently, and it's been fun. I haven't actually been doing... I could have probably blitzed it to the end of the first playthrough, but I've decided instead to micromanage building ACs because it's really fun to try out all the parts. So far, I have two. One's a literal tank. The other one is... I've just been stripping out as much weight as I can to build it for speed. And it's been... In a surprising turn of events, the speed focus mech has been the one that I've been enjoying a lot more than the heavily armored, removing that direction, sir, one. But yeah, I've been having fun with it. It's definitely... I really have to wonder with that game how many people went into that expecting something Souls-like and got completely blindsided by the fact that No, no, no. You are meant to... You are meant and encouraged to freely respec as much as you want. Ah, well, there's ads. Then I should, yeah, because I don't think I have the energy to not. Be back in a sec. Hey, I think we're back. Same boat here. My guide, you're counter-clicking. I had Commonwealth calls me. Yes, you can never have too many playthroughs of your favorite Fallout game. That is a known fact. It's just impossible. It's awesome that you can have so much customization AC6. Yeah, if anything, the game's been built around that from the beginning. Like, the whole reason the mechs are called armored cores is because of the story is that somebody on the design team explained, like, their idea for the mechs as, like, he's up there, I can hear him, as being like, yeah, so you have the core of the mech, the cockpit, that has joint connections for, like, shoulders, legs, that sort of thing. On the other side of that, I can hear him, but I have no idea where. Oh! And then they're all essentially modular. In AC6 actually has less customization options than AC2.
Botanical_chaos is first in the stream.
Hey, Botan, how you doing? Thanks for checking in. But we're just talking about Armored Core because that is consuming my life. How are you doing? Yeah,
Helta_RIS is second in the stream. The coveted third is still out there.
Thanks for checking in for getting second, Elta. Congrats. Third still exists. Alright, where'd the skull kid go? There. But I remember, like, Armor Core 2, when I played it briefly, had options for same things that are in 6, like legs, head, torso, arms, weapon for each hand, shoulder, weapon for each shoulder, booster, ace targeting computer, power plant, and one sort of customization slot. But I think 2 will also let you do, like, radiator and gear train. Like, it's always been kind of crazy modular robot building as the main thing, which is why it's insanely funny to me that a bunch of people picked up Armor Core 6 off of the popularity of Elden Ring. And I think and I think there was some initial confusion of people like picking their build and trying to go through with just that. But like, nah, you are designed to, if you ever hit a wall with a level that you can't beat because of something absolutely standing in your way, or when you're doing time trials or replays to try to get an S rank, you are designed to absolutely scrap your mech and start from the ground up. Especially in Armor Core 6, where they let you replay missions early to grind out money so you can... Ah, dang it. It's so hard to aim with the sensor bar this close. But so you can just, like, grind out money beforehand to get parts that work well together or you want. And it's like, oh, I'm having a lot of trouble with this first boss, a massive mobile artillery platform that's designed to be basically impervious from damage from the front. You have to, at first you have an ally that distracts him so you can circle around and get some free hits in. Later, it's just 100% on your own and like the back third of the fight, and that gets hard to move around and maneuver behind him. But I was using a very slow AC. If I swapped over and used a much quicker one, I wouldn't have the same problem. Like, it would be child's play. Which is just so cool. It's like all the fun of the Gundam kit, but it only cost me $35. So needless to say, that's been the obsession. Although, full honesty, I kind of don't mind the fact that it's been costing me a little bit of sleep on account of for the past handful of... Oh, I already got that one. That for the past handful of games that I know I should be excited for. Like, shoot, I bought Metro, or not Metro. I bought Stalker 2 back around Christmas and still haven't played it. And I loved the first 3 games, which I love that I can say that. That for some reason they're like, yeah, we'll name this one Stalker 2. Okay, what about Shadow of Chernobyl, Clear Sky, Call of Pripyat? This is the 4th game in there. Yeah, but people don't consider Clear Sky as being part of the timeline anyway. As far as they're concerned, first game's Shadow of Chernobyl or Call of Pripyat, and the second one's Call of Pripyat or Shadow of Chernobyl. I always forget which one's first and which one's second. So we'll just call it 2. And in all fairness, they did have an excuse. that it's a Ukraine-based dev studio, and they kind of got invaded midway through, which delayed the game by a lot, and from what I remember, everyone's reaction was, wait, what do you mean you're still playing? What do you mean this is only delaying the game? This is like, would be justifiable to cancel. But that being said, I have never met a passionate creative who wasn't completely insane. It's kind of a running theme. Love it for that. Sick, how are you? Good, just started lots of classes, also last semester. That's good. Hopefully the classes go well and it can just be done and over, because never fun. But yeah, it's just been kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of been a whole thing of games come out that I know I'll be excited for and that I should be absolute. Because you see some people online talk about a new game in their favorite series come out, or one that really impacted them, and they go basically insane. And I'm just like, oh, this game in a series that I really love and is based off of, directly based off of my favorite book, period, Roadside Picnic, is coming out, and I just don't feel any particular way about this. So I don't know, it's just been kind of nice to have a game that I'm legitimately excited for, and not just kind of playing just because, like I've been doing with Helldivers and a half dozen roguelikes. Because it's also really nice to have a game that actually gives you progression. Like, I love those roguelikes for what they are, and technically speaking, Helldivers is a roguelike. Oh! I love how they do that specifically because there's no earthly way that Okuku could have gotten in here without the Master Sword. So they just show him running up here. It's like, yeah, they followed Link. But no, Helldivers is a roguelike. I'm hoping so too. It'd be nice for it'd be nice to have it just be done and over. All right, Helldivers is a roguelike. Because each time you do a run that lasts maximum 45 minutes across 1 to 3, anywhere between 45 minutes and 15 minutes, depending on what mission you have, that lasts between 1 mission or 3 or 4, I think, on higher difficulties. The map is randomized. You're going out there to hunt for treasures in the form of premium currency or samples that can upgrade your runs and character between outings back to a central base, your super destroyer, and there's an explanation for why the game keeps going after you die. In this case, your character just dies. They have so many reserves, they don't care so long as you don't go over the limit before it refreshes. Wait, this implies every extraction shooter's a roguelike then. Hang on, because actually, no, I shouldn't post stuff on social media in the middle of the stream. I also didn't read what Midna said at all, and I'm sure it's actually probably kind of interesting or important, but I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these streams have been running off of muscle memory lately. Like, pretty much the only exception is the Sonic streams, because I've never played that game or series. Hey, chicken, not so fast. Last sit. That's where I've been trying. You've been trying to get into a sacred, sealed temple that nobody knows about, sealed by a sword that can explicitly only be wielded and lifted out of the pedestal by one person. Well, I can see why you've been following around, because, yeah, just wait for someone who goes through insane dungeons. They're probably important. Ancient technology. Which is weird. This is like the only game where ancient technology, there's no direct line between ancient technology and Sheikah. So, oh, you're fine. Well, yeah, you can just leave at any time if you have something going up. Like, calling your parents, important. I am just here and I don't even know what I'm saying, but we have determined that Helldivers is a roguelike, and that implies all extraction shooters like Escape from Tarkov are also roguelikes. And that this is... I wonder if this is... Now that I think about it, Sheikah and Ancient Technology have been like... That was Skyward Sword onwards. But even for Skyward Sword, it's very much the vibe of the Ancient Technology is Magitech. Of like, there is some ancient technology, but in the desert area with robots and shit. But it's not implied that it's explicitly the Sheikah being responsible. So I wonder if it went from Ocarina, Sheikah are just Guardians of Ancient Secrets, not necessarily technology, to this game, because Sheikah basically don't have a presence at all in Wind Waker. Like that one was interesting for the sheer fact that that it did so many new things. Because that was the first one where the Rito were. The Zora and Kokiri were only referenced in the sages that you show up in two temples, and then there's only 3 Gorons that are the wandering merchants. But beyond that, it's like all new races with the Koroks and Koroks Rito, and not really much reference to returning ones. Which in hindsight's really cool. But yeah, I'm just wondering if there's like Sheikah being Guardians of Ancient Knowledge to Sheikah, this game where ancient technology is introduced as a thing. Bit more stronger in Skyward Sword, and then it's just a recognized thing, or used for honestly a lot of the plot in Breath of the Wild. Clorox Dorito? Yeah, I'd eat one. Oh, hey, another rant I have. Oh, I was off by 1. But look at this dungeon map. 1 connection here. 1 connection here. 1 way to go here. Branching path, but one of these doors is blocked out. 1 way to go. 1 solid connected path here. This entire dungeon is linear from start to finish, and only branches at certain points where you can't go any further. No, it's cheesy and very odorous. I might have accidentally eaten half a pound of cheese last night instead of having dinner. I am also cheesy and odorous. I think I'll be fine. But yeah, no, This is one of my biggest... One of the dungeons that I dislike the most for... Oh, there goes the other pot. For the fact that... Most Twilight Princess dungeons aren't that large. That they... Most of the starting dungeons, there's only a... The first one is one single floor. Goron Mines is technically 2, but you only go up to the second floor for some magnet boot. Also cheesy and odorous. Thank you, Mecha. Oh, hey, Beamoses. Beamite? Oh, hey, Link has a stagger. On the Wii remote again. Hang on. There we go. But what was I talking about? Oh, right, ranting. And then the only dungeon that gets close to the complexity of what you'd expect from like an older game is the Water Temple, which is the Water Temple. So part of the reason that nobody likes Ocarina of Time's Water Temple is for the sheer reason that you don't have a baseline for how a complex dungeon can be. You're just thrown in the literal deep end and told, yeah, figure it out. The last two have been simple and straightforward, not much backtracking or puzzles, and sure, that's probably because they wanted to streamline the dungeons. But it annoys me that this is, by floor count, the largest dungeon in the game, but there's no exploration. It's just, there's no question of looking at the map and where do I go next? What's the puzzle here? Is there something that I can figure out that I'm not? No, it's just, you keep going. If you can't figure something out, you just go to the latest room that you can get to, and like here. Oh, I don't have a key. Well, it's probably over there, and literally the only other place I can get to at all. Although watch it not actually be over there because or still in this same room. Fear me, I have a top. Which I think I might need this thing for something. So, I don't know. I was supposed to just put it on the lift, but it ended up getting yeeted, so we'll come back to that later. See if we actually need it. Ow. Ah! We do. I swear that these spike things are here just so that if you try to do this with like a pot that you can grab from somewhere, it won't work. Well, I can't just... Man. Link's really got to work on his core strength. He got thrown off that top from nothing. Not a good look. All right, where'd I throw you? There you are. Nope. There we go. Yeah. Dungeon complexity could be more. I know part of it is that they want these games to not be mind-rackingly difficult to their target audience. But like, I was I'll admit to being a little disappointed with like Tears of the Kingdom, because they did bring back the idea of a dungeon. Ooh, hey, perfect. First try. But they were overly simplified for a very interesting reason. That for that game, all the buildings had to be in a logical structure. Because they didn't want to sacrifice the last game's system of being open and free to explore. But they also gave you way more tools to completely break the game in half by doing things like I remember the Goron dungeon, the fire temple in that game. That one was awful because there was a couple sections where it's like, well, I can see where I need to go. I don't know how to get there. I'm just going to strap a rocket to my shield and glide over there instead of doing all the challenges. Because frankly, that seems easier. But the thing that really kind of neutered their complexity is that for this game, logically speaking, this tower doesn't have to exist. We don't need a physical, weird, lumpy structure or anything like that for this to make logical sense. And some are even worse. Like Arbiter's Grounds is sprawling and barely connected. See, I really enjoyed that bit because at least it feels... Oh yeah, that's 100% valid as well. That you can and should feel smart for being able to break the game in half. And that is valid and a big reason why those games got as popular as they were. Because that is really fun. Feeling like you've outsmarted a game is great. And that is... And like, for as much as I like to complain, I will admit that I do respect them for just letting that be a solution. But as terms of puzzle boxes go, there's only so much. I feel like there's only so much that can be done in that format, because part of the reason, like part of the classic dungeons and why dungeons exist in a game, period, is because oh, I didn't. I could have just hit that with my sword. Nice. Is because you can't load, and no matter how much you want to try, you can't load an entire game into the map at once. Because it's one thing to be able to use cheats to get past things, but being able to use the game itself, oh yeah, for sure. And like, just being able to load up the game and be like, all right, I know how, I see how to do it legit, but I want to build a catapult and fling myself over there. I'm gonna go build a catapult. It's fun. Like, it's, the fun of it is largely being a chaotic sandbox filter or simulation of just, yeah, I could fight these dudes, but I want to use drones. Which I think that style of game does have a point, and it would be kind of sad if they didn't make more of them. But I also do like puzzling things out. Like, I like a good puzzle game and a good dungeon like this, just for the sheer reason of... I forgot, if you sheathe the moment you kill something, it does that whole animation, and it's just cute. Link is perpetually a dork. And I suppose it's hard to show that through on a playthrough of this on stream, on account of the fact that I remember things a bit too well. Ow. There we go. So there's... Ooh. Ow. So there's just a lot of Wait. I remember how to do this. Ooh. He's good with a shield. Get helm split. Like, oh, I remember exactly how to do this because it gave me so much trouble. There we go. Nice. Quick to get up, too. But, like, I do legitimately love being able... having the game present me with a difficult issue that I don't know how to approach. And, like, sure, I will 100% get frustrated at it. Time and time again. Without fail. Because that's just kind of what happens when you have a puzzle you don't immediately get. But I don't know, it feels rewarding. And I guess part of that is why my day job is programming, that for as much frustration as it causes initially, the sense of satisfaction I get after working at something and then just getting it is enough that I find it enjoying, or I find enjoyment out of it. The other thing is my brain's probably broken like 5 different ways that I don't know about, and that's probably a symptom of it. That I'm used to really old games being really hard, and... Alright, so I see and acknowledge that I could fight all these individually. Or I could just hawk explosives at them. The explosive sounds fun. However, I am also remembering now that I have like more AoEs than the normal individual would, and I just suck at them. Alright, completely unrelated thought, but I just randomly thought about how one of the biggest issues with like D&D that I have is that if you're not a spellcaster, you're basically speaking useless outside of being a tank. So the person who's championing our custom league made this team: Gengar, Wailerin, Snorlax, Conkeldurr, Garchomp, Azaze, Metagross. Nice! Pretty solid team there. And like the stereotypical turn for a martial class, unless you're doing something stupid. My advice for D&D is always do something that makes the DM say, "I'm sorry, you're doing what?" Because then, like, if you make a DM make a judgment call and not have anything like rule-based to go off of, then more likely you're going to get something that's at the very least realistic. And once you get decoupled from game logic and get people used to decoupling from game logic, you can do so much stuff, it's kind of not even funny. There's a puzzle here. Although I think my proudest moment is just being so boringly practical, it wraps back around to... Oh wait, I don't need like any of these now, because that is as low as the scale goes. I've just kind of wrapped around to... Oh, I did see this thing up here. In that, my one game had a DM trap like the lead up to, or the exit of a teleportation circle that we were using. It's like, hey, we want to go grab stuff from our base on the other end of this teleportation circle. Like, all right, every time you do that, you're going to have to roll an acrobatics or athletics check to jump over this thing. Like, all right, on seeing this triggered to the last person who was through here, I'm going back to our base. I'm getting like, what? It's how big's the jump? 10 feet? Perfect. I'm getting a plank of wood that's big, and I know we have one. I know we definitely have one, or if not, I screw together a couple planks to cause it, and I put it over the button so it doesn't trigger. My favorite thing to say as DMs, you know what? Yeah, I like that. Makes sense. Yeah. Like, my rule for anything is that if there's a moment of confusion that we don't know what the ruling is, it's whoever can find it referenced in the book first, or whoever thinks of something that makes sense. What? It was the one that was like 7 people. I won't say their name on stream, but it was like the first campaign that we played with each other back in college. Oh wait, I actually did have to go up here. Although when you're a wolf, Minna just opens the door herself. That's the one! Which is probably why it was more fun to remember things that didn't go his way, because on account of him being referred to as the bastard DM. See, it's not recommended to have this sort of relationship with your DM, but it is more fun when every act of creativity makes it feel like a sort of victory. Oh, I was going to say, like, wait, can I not get up there with single claw shot? That's odd, considering that's not the dungeon item here. Yeah, trauma bonding. 100%. But like, my favorite thing to do as various like high strength class is just be like, yeah, I grab them. What do you mean? I mean, these dudes are half of my size. I count as large because of class and or race features. I grab them. I am going to It's like what everyone found out when they were playing Baldur's Gate 3, that so many enemies and fights could be circumvented if you just pushed them off a cliff. I think I grabbed... Yeah, there was one campaign. It didn't last very long, but I was playing a paladin. I grabbed someone and used them to hit someone else. And it just kept on working. So, Brett, how does it feel to live in a world where going into the playoffs and the favorites to win the Super Bowl is Detroit Lions? Funny. It feels really hilarious. Because even if the Lions lose, which they probably will, they're the Lions. Literally every single Lions fan has zero faith in them doing anything but failing. Fans jokingly say that, yeah, we've had a perfect season, 0-16, which is demonstrably the wrong way around. The 0 wins, 16 losses. And that has become a bit of a point of pride. Like, the point in being a Lions fan, especially living not in Michigan, is for when the local team plays the Lions, you get to be very annoying if they win. And it's so funny because everyone's so mad when you go into work with a Lions jersey. First round bye? Dang. This is so embarrassing for everyone else. This is just like, ow. You have a team whose entire reputation is built around being kind of shit at their jobs. Bad coaching, bad players, bad track record. And they're... God, if they win a Super Bowl, it's going to be hilarious. I am going to have to find like some sort of team paraphernalia for stream for that. It's like, am I into sports? No. The most I've ever gotten into is basketball, because every so often somebody has local tickets and it's fun. It's the same reaction I have to golf. The sport itself, I don't really care for. Could take it or leave it. However, it's fun to drink and drive the little cart around. And it is an excuse. It is an excuse to watch, say something like, oh dang, them people are going down the court real fast. And indulge in some criminally overpriced stadium drinks. The Vikings and the Packers all had God damn. I'd ask what they're feeding people in the Midwest, but like, I'm in the Midwest, I know what they're feeding people. Oh, that reminds me. Have you ever seen an image of the drunkest counties in the US? Like the top 50 drunkest counties. And there's like 5 that are not in the state of Wisconsin. One of my favorite facts is that, I'm not sure if it's true, but there's one beer only sold in Wisconsin, New Glarus. It's the 7th most popular beer in the US. Not sold outside of the state. It is just by the popularity and commonality of Wisconsin alone that it is number 7. NFC North is best league in football this year by far. Dang. Everyone else really has to... Oh, sweet. Dark Nut fight. But yeah, everyone has to step it up. Also, favorite fucking enemy in any game, Dark Nuts. Cause like, it's just so cool. And when I was saying that this game, this is about as close in style and vibe to God, shield attack is so rough to try to get off. There we go. Helm's off. Like, this is about as close in style and vibe as you can get to a Dark Souls boss. But it also has one of my favorite things in that there's a phase transition. Once you get all their armor off. What happens if I... So I'm not sure I've gotten anything new. Wait, even the way you damage him, if you don't have the Helm Splitter, yeah, then he just throws his sword at you. You have to wait for him to attack and hit during the recoveries. And then he swaps for a longsword and gets so much more dangerous. Can I mortal draw him? I can! That was so cool. Yeah, you kind of do have to fight him like a Souls boss of blocking, parrying, waiting for an opening, and waiting and circling around to hit where he's not striking or attacking. He's just a duel. Yeah. Maybe maybe that's why I like Dark Souls and this game. It's just the grungy, dark fantasy vibe. It's just really cool. Ah, yes, the Domination Rod. Not as underused as the Spinner, but also not as overused as bows or bombs. Because let's be honest, about 90% of the heavy lifting in a Zelda game, as far as puzzle items go, it is the bow and it is the bombs that is responsible. Alright. I'm going to name you Eugene, and we are going to get the fuck out of here. So it's just, the entire thing is just hammer. Slowly pushed away because I got too close. Yeah, maybe I should. I'm half tempted to do another playthrough of Dark Souls 1. Maybe I should do that on stream. Or maybe... or maybe I do a New Game Plus of... Also, I love for as much as I complain about this dungeon, I do love the gimmick that is just... Ignore everything about all the puzzles you had going up here. You just have a dude with a hammer. You can figure it out. Right, I need to weigh it down, get him on, and then remove it. There we go. Up you get up there. I think for this, yeah, it's an interesting thing. It actually builds on the Master Sword puzzle a little bit. That you have to, it's all about positioning and making sure you're in the right spot for where you need to be. So you don't, because you can just hit yourself in the head with the statue's hammer. Like that, if I didn't get saved by the... Yeah. But it's kind of like they took a look at the most annoying puzzle in the game and like, yeah, we got a dungeon gimmick in this. I got an idea. Because again, most creative people I know are just kind of insane. Like, that is just how it goes. I love that for them. Yeah. You know, I could probably... Oh, wait, no, I do need to... Well, if there's a hole, we can possess it. Don't think too hard on that. It'll be better for you. Wait. Now that I think about this, Why do we need this dude? Like, legit. The last dungeon item we got is essentially a giant hammer. But it doesn't crush the things in here. Like, like this is how it goes. Snow Peak Temple. You get a massive ball and chain that's entire gimmick is built around finding things in the environment you don't want to see and crushing them with a massive weight. This dungeon's gimmick is find a statue with a massive heft to it and use its hammer to deal with obstacles in the dungeon. Right. Definitely don't have something in our inventory that can deal with that. Although I swear, the more I think about it, the more it feels like they made Breath of the Wild and especially Tears of the Kingdom as a little with the same vibe as Mario Maker, which is, all right, you think you can do a better job, or all the times you said, well, I don't see why Link doesn't just do this for this puzzle or circumvent it. Or like, yeah, you can easily circumvent it through this way or this way or this way. Like, all right, fine. We will let you do that. And oh shit, what was supposed to be a little bit of vindictive get what you want was actually turned out to be extremely popular, and they love it. Well, that one's on us. We have learned our lesson. All right, and now to throw every single one of these over there. Because now we are back to being way too heavy. I was pressing the button, I say with a nearly dead Wii remote, and a solid plank of wood between the sensor bar and the Wii. Although, I'm actually not sure how the Wii reads button inputs, because you don't need sensor bar. The sensor bar is just a glorified pointer. And like they did away with that on the... They did away with needing a sensor bar because they just put a gyroscope in the Switch. That's how that one works. So I assume it's like Bluetooth sort of deal, because this was like right when Bluetooth was starting to get kind of big, or like in everything. Where's the... Oh, it's right in the middle of the room. Not sure I missed that. Anyway, next room down on the tour of linearity. Because who needs branching paths in a dungeon? Oh, wait. Wait. I remember what we gotta do here. Bonk. And You get there? Nope, nope, nope. You get there. I get this thing, which I think is required. Oh no, it's Pete's heart. Love that for me. Wait. Did I ever? No, I have to have unlocked that door and that needed a small key in the main room. I was like, wait, did I do that? Or is there just optional stuff? And then I remembered, no, this is the most linear dungeon that has ever been conceived. It's all legit there. We got everything. All right, don't swing the hammer. All right. Man, I can't believe that we're going to do it. Ow. Get him. Can't even see that Beamos, which is good because I don't want to. Oh, I guess it's not exactly a huge surprise that they kind of do this in the tail end of Zelda games, that there's a lot more story and context. And I feel like it's common not just with Zelda games, it's common across the genre, across games, period. That you have a lot of story up front, a lot of context of like, hey, here's stuff happening, there's more density of cutscenes are more in the early games, and then it starts to peter off midway through, and you're kind of just left not to your own devices. Are you on? Yeah, you're on enough. But with a lot more stuff you have to do between point A and point B. And in this case, it kind of shows with the dungeons, right? Where instead of being able to, especially because there's often a lot of world building, it's more common for games to have to kind of show their work and explain what's here, what are you doing, what's the big conflict, why do you care, why are you getting involved, than anything else. Especially as it's kind of a whole... Yep, there it is. Has to have to be shocked by that once. Because of the whole, more often than not, if anyone's going to complain about lack of story structure, everyone's a critic, and if it's not immaculate, it's a problem. Those no, they're not bleeding, so they're just regular ticks. Actually, technically, they're baby spiders. That's not better, is it? But yeah, there is... speaking of spiders just kind of inhabiting abandoned places, there's a lot of spiders in here. It's fun. It's a vibe. It's a time. Alright. Just gonna rip the soul out of this ghost. Don't worry, it's not his to begin with, so it's fine. I feel like the Poe side quest exists because someone on the dev team was like, well, we want to have an animation of Wolf Link ripping the throat out of something. And management is like, no, you can't have Link rip something's throat out. I'm like, okay, but what if they're ghosts? Fine, you're not going to let this go, are you? Not until we get to animate this twink ripping out someone's throat. I'm gonna add that as a quote before. The best part about this is I will confuse it with static. I'll be back in a moment. Ow. All right. Just heard you. Oh yeah, I didn't want to pull up the internet on my computer because that'd be over chat, and it was almost done. So I had it on my phone to check something, and I was right up on the mic. So sorry about that. I will breathe less. No, ticks are worse. At least spiders will make you allergic to meat. That is a good point. Ticks are much worse. I would not want to be allergic to meat. That's not even just as anything made with veggies isn't good. It's just like, no, I use meat in a lot of cooking, and I'd love to keep using meat in a lot of stuff. Yeah, it really ticked me off. Hey. Yeah, like that. Like, why can't I use the giant fucko hammer that I got to do hammer tasks? Oh, wait. I remember it. This feels like it should be a puzzle. Now. Like, that would be so cool to just grab something on the other side of the domination rod, move up the... Man, screw you. Your hammer isn't as good as this dude's. Like, move up the stairs in order to hit the switch on the other side. It was like, nah, we made a 2-switch thing on the other side, so we kind of just don't have a way for you to get over there, and you can't grab this dude to squash it, so yeah, just have this for free. Although, in all fairness, it is kind of funny that the solution isn't the dungeon item and the way you've been trained to respond. It's actually just to use a different item and do the one thing that it has been documented across many sources most video game players do not do. Look up. Like, it's actually been known, seen, and documented across so... Just arrows. That's a bit of an anticlimax. But it's been documented across many different points that people really tend to keep the camera in a straight plane, and when they get stuck on something, it never considers for them to look upwards, because, like, you're not gonna see anything. Like, yeah, some cool kind of generic ceiling, but it's not something you'd look twice at. Hi, pizza. How's it going? Keep them cooking to keep them from coming. Just talking about ticks and other things today. And also, almost done with 2 dungeons somehow. I don't know, I think at least half of it is that I firmly believe, oh, I could totally make a better dungeon with having the foresight of knowing what future game design would be and having played this a ton. Alright. I have opinions of how cool it is that it goes from this clean, pristine temple on the outside to this death trap gauntlet that looks like it's right out of Ocarina of Time's Shadow Temple. Just found it in an 8.5-hour stream. Dang, that's a full shift with a half-hour lunch break. Nice. Oh hey. Well, I was just talking about I wish they did it where this is that gimmick of grabbing something with the rod and moving it off. No, I don't even know if they have like a point or purpose towards going from... Oh, I wanted that in a bottle, dang. Going from the shiniest, newest temple you've ever seen to here's a section that's so old it probably doesn't exist when you go back to the time period that you were in before, because it's already what the rest looked like. Friends, Tactical Breach was proved very funny. It is, from what I've seen, it's a very humorous game. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So, hope there's no arachnophobes. Or people with phobia of giant eyes, because this thing, I fucking hated the boss so much. Ugh. Like, it's dark, it honestly feels more like a Shadow of the Colossus sort of boss. Oh, come on, what do you mean I don't have... Seriously? Yeah. You gotta be, like, right under it. God. Yeah. Honestly, I think the series should do more to terrify kids. Like, did Wind Waker and Ocarina scare me when I was young? Yes, that was freaky. Also, this is a very funny boss. Because it's just you punch it. Just get the catharsis out. But also, like, there was a time where Nintendo was kind of full in on let's make something that is going to like make kids a little freaked. And I don't know, there's this theory of kids media that it's like it shouldn't be this super sanitized and safe thing. It should be a little bit uncomfortable to the target audience because it creates a safe place for kids to experience that sort of discomfort and learn how to deal with it. Like Grammatic story upgrade. Failing through your own Eldritch Portal in a nightmare dimension, meaning your own dream self and past is teaching you anything is this. How to teleport a guy. Makes sense. Makes sense. That just seems factual. Wait. Alright. So the Midna's target attack in an area, or AoE, seems like it'd be useful, but it's not. God. I see why they're called ticks, because they're ticking me off. Alright, how do you lose a giant spider? You forget to cherish it. Actually, you take your eyes off for like a moment, and it's back behind the toilet tank. Without fail. Or under the fridge. You know, this is probably bigger than the spider that you fight under the fridge. Oh, wait. What? We still have the eye. It's not dead if the eye's there. So that was just armor for it? Like, that's what was doing, piloting everything? Get bent. Like everyone in the game, but Bang specifically is great. Guess when you can bring people back from the dead, you don't need to worry about it. Yeah, it's actually easier to heal people if they die completely. That's just how necromancy works. Wow, we're on the second to last dungeon. Like, we just have to do... No, wait, there's 3. Because we have City in the Sky, Twilight Realm, which is a pain. That one is just a pain. And then... yeah, it's just Hyrule Castle. Wild. Anyway, Gib. Of course, you can probably stretch an entire stream out of just doing side con. Oh wait, and then there's the best mini dungeon ever. Like Castle in the Sky is another of a favorite dungeon because the lead up to it is fantastic. Shout out to Spider Bosses, specifically the fact that one of the best commanders in MTG Lord of the Ring crossover is Shelob. Keep her away from hobbits, though. Like that specifically. I also love how throughout the series they use the Song of Time the fact that the Temple of Time keeps on showing up in a very interesting way. That before you show up here, or before you go back to the past here, it's not playing Song of Time, it's playing Lost Woods theme. And also, I feel like every Zelda game that involves time travel, which is statistically a lot more than you'd think. Like, let's be honest, there's a lot more time travel in Zelda games than you're prepared for, but there's always something of like, actually there's a lot more time travel in fantasy games than you'd be prepared for. But like in the future, there's a chest in this area that's open and empty because you already grabbed the piece of heart in the past. Because they always assume that 100% completion is what happens, which is fair. Ending Shelov just reminds me of OSP Red, hearing about Shelov in Shadow Games. Tolkien's arachnophobia did not die for this. That reminds me of another thought that I've had, which is it's really funny that about 99% of VTubing, or the VTuber community, or at least 99% of the ones you see, will always tell you that what inspired them are either anime or other VTubers that are in part event. So much time travel is they wanted to. One of the early concepts for Breath of the Wild involved traveling to the future and fighting aliens. But also, the original thought for Link to the Past was between sci-fi future and fantasy past, but they decided not to do that because it was on the SNES, and there's only so much you can do. About Link's crossbow training, yeah, I think there's actually I didn't play Link's crossbow training because it's a big gimmick that I never got for what was not a lot of game for how much they wanted it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Or at least the idea of gunplay, but they didn't want to give Link a gun, so they're like, yeah, sure. Oh yeah, the empty chest, but also another thing I love, this looks and feels like a block that would be summoned and changed places by the Song of Time in the original game, or in Ocarina. Basically, thanks for checking in. But yeah, they should definitely give Link a clock. That'd be fun. But yeah, no, one of the things I love about Temple of Time is that it keeps showing up, even though it's only really relevant in Ocarina. But, like, there's nothing here. The entire place has been razed to the ground, and there's no music. But when you step back in time, music starts playing. The original Song of Time theme remastered for this area. And similarly, with Breath of the Wild, wait, I saw a spinner track up there. There's the Temple of Time you start at, or start near. If you speed up the music in the background from like the kind of weird ambient noises, it becomes a distorted version of the Song of Time theme. There used to be something here, and we have forgotten what it was, but this was a very important place once. So we got Imperial, what the US uses, or UK? One gag that has me curious. I think Imperial is like, I don't know. Oh wait, Imperial is what US and UK uses. Just that UK uses some metric things, but Imperial is like feet, inches, and the like. Yeah. But I think it's like UK uses everything metric, but like miles per hour and feet in some cases. I don't know, it's really weird, and honestly, there's not... The only reason to use the Imperial over metric is that most Imperial measurements are much easier to double or half. Like, why is there 12 feet in a foot? Because it's easier to get a half foot, or it's easier to mentally do the math to figure out how to half things, because one of the many weird things about the human brain is that you can pretty much accurately eyeball a half of something without much effort, but I don't know, it's a weird thing. And am I just walking around because it's like, I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of tired going into this, and we beat 2 dungeons today, like, completely, so I'm feeling pretty good about that stream. There's one conversation, third section, yes, is Bank saying it's got me wondering, so, what, Chapel uses Imperial? Yes? So those fuckers in the ground. I take it's made by a European studio that very much, or Canadian, could be. Because full honesty, given that the rest of the world uses metric, there's not a good reason for the US to stay on Imperial, other than the fact that we're kind of, full honesty, we're just kind of fucks about everything. The US primarily exists to make things kind of worse. So I can get behind that. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for tonight, because we did 2 dungeons. I am content in that. Let me just roll a dice to see who we're going to raid. Oh, that's even. Because I hate this one part of raiding, which is I have the choice between someone who almost always, like, their stream cutoff time is 9:30, and yes, I am raiding them because they often have raided me and I want to pay that back, but also to be a little bit annoying about it. Oh, congrats on getting third. Bunch of images wants to percentage of my body rigged as boobs. I'm the largest breasts on Twitch. Unfortunately, not true anymore, but that was true of the V1 model. But yeah, we're going to be rating Maya. She's playing Satisfactory, and yeah, it's a chill streamer. Like, honestly, good vibes and good to relax to. So check her out. And assuming nothing goes awful, I'll be live Tuesday. Assuming something does go awful, I'll probably still be live Tuesday, because I really am bad at letting myself rest. But thanks for coming in and chatting. I had a lot of fun, and I don't know, maybe next time we play this game, we just try to beat it in one go. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, see you around.